Hi there, everyone. This is Dr. Tucker, and this is our online lecture for SED 636, Critical Issues in Assistive Technology, Week 1. So the first thing I want to go over is our roadmap. So we're going to talk about and review the syllabus, the various assignments for 636, and how Blackboard is organized. We're going to review the quiet listserv, which everyone should be familiar with, and also have a membership, but we're going to talk about how that is a requirement for the course. And I'm also going to introduce the use of Twitter for you as well. We're going to go over your homework assignment, which is to complete and evaluate yourself on the professional standards checklist. And I'm also going to start and review using the Bewley Library Research Database to find articles to support with citations, which you will be needing to do in your research paper. And finally, we're going to start looking at Read and Write for Google, which is a very valuable tool for you to use that you will be then working with for your homework due February 2nd. So what I want you to think about, and looking at this course title which is Critical Issues in Assistive Technology, I want you to, in your notebooks or in a file that you can bring to class next week, is brainstorm what are some critical issues in assistive technology. What do you see? If you don't experience or have a lot of background in assistive technology, what do you think would be some issues? If you have experience, whether it be with AT evaluations or AT consultations, what are some issues that you've seen? And just kind of jot these down. We're going to brainstorm next week when we meet, so I do want you to bring that to class. Brainstorm some ideas. As I've jumped right in, I didn't really talk a lot about myself. So to give you some background, I am currently an assistive technology specialist at ACES, serving 25 districts in around the south central portion of Connecticut. However, we do contract all over the state. My background is a little bit unique. I come from special ed, so I'm a certified special education teacher K-12 and a regular education certified teacher K-6. I started off teaching middle school resource room, I moved to high school resource room, and then life skills before I transitioned into ACES. So I have a little bit of a different take on things. But which is great, and then that's what I love about the field of assistive technology, is that we have AT specialists with backgrounds in occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech and language, and special ed. So it really allows for a diverse group and a variety of perspectives, but can also be a challenge. So now let's move on and let's go to the syllabus and let's look at our Blackboard organization. So once you log into Blackboard, you can see that we have all of our class topics over here on the left side. When you open it up, it should start right away to your syllabus. So let's go there. So you can see we have the course title, my contact information if you need it, the course description, so it provides an opportunity to examine a variety of issues that are facilitators and barriers to successful AT implementation. Among the topics are funding, technical support, professional development, equity issues, and legal issues. And we will also examine research methods and trends in assistive technology. So you can see the outcomes there. Accommodations, if anyone needs any accommodations, please feel free to contact me before or after class or via email to make sure that your needs are met. Academic honesty is extremely important, especially because we are going to have quite a few online classes and online discussion boards, and having academic integrity is vital. So making sure that you're presenting work that is of the highest quality and that is your own. We will be really talking a lot about APA citation and appropriately giving credit where credit is due. So that is something that is extremely important, especially in this course. We have the School of Education's conceptual framework. So your required text. So there is one text that you do need to purchase for this course. It's the Practical and Fun Guide to Assistive Technology in Public Schools. The Kindle, the electronic version, or the paper version is completely fine. I have to say that I'm really excited. I love this textbook. It's one of my favorite. I like their writing styles. And I think it really helps capture AT in the public school and gives you some the reality rather than just the theory and the concepts that I think most of your textbooks, specifically your intro textbook, really talks about. It's kind of like AT in a perfect world, and this is AT in the real world. Your other required texts are both free and uploaded to Blackboard. So here are your course requirements and evaluation criteria. So positive participation on assignments and discussion boards is required. So 20 points, you will need to complete the reading. So we will have some reading checks at the beginning of class, but we will have discussions. So to be respectful to me and to your classmates, please make sure that you do the reading so that we can continue on to the class, because I don't want to just spend class reviewing what was already read. I want to then build on. So that's the foundation, and then we're building on that in class. So I'm not wasting anyone's time or money. The Twitter chat review, which is something we're going to start talking about now. Twitter really has emerged in the field of assistive technology as a major avenue for professional development. The reason that we're having an online class this week is that I am attending the Assistive Technology Conference in Florida. So one of your homework assignments for next week is to log into Twitter and get set up, but also then monitor the Twitter hashtag, which we'll kind of talk about and go over, in ATIA and my specific account, so that you can see all of the information that you can learn here. So one of your requirements is that you're going to do a Twitter chat review. So Twitter chats are like synchronous conversations that occur through Twitter. So you're going to pick one AT Twitter chat. It happens every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock to participate in and provide a one-page review and post to the Twitter chat discussion board for others to see. So you don't have to do like a narrative review, as I mentioned here. It can be a visual, they can be links. So what did you learn? So you want to try and pick a topic, which they publish on Quiet during the week. That's something that you're interested in. So then your research project was essentially kind of like your midterm. You're going to pick a topic in assistive technology, research, read, and critically evaluate a series of research articles. So we will talk more in depth about this next week when we meet. However, I'm going to go over the rubric with you, and I'm going to start talking about how you can find some research articles, because I do want you to start gathering this information now. One of your long-term projects that you are going to start immediately is the creation of an AT resource website. So this is 20 points as well. So each student will create a Google site. Google, I'm not held to that. So if you're open to other options, if you'd like something better, you absolutely can. But mainly your homework assignments are going to be creating resources that you're going to include into this site. One of the things that I'm really passionate about is making sure that whatever you use or create in this course, that you can use in your daily life and in your practice. So these are all things that you should be able to then use in practice and benefit from professionally. I don't want you to waste your time. Oh, I'm sorry. And then we left off the implementation project there, so I apologize. I'm going to have to edit your syllabus. So your final project is your classroom evaluation, which you can see your rubric here. Again, we're going to talk more in depth about this, but what your classroom project is that you're going to be doing a classroom evaluation. So you will need to observe a class. It can be a class that you co-teach in, it can be a coworker's class, but what you're going to do is kind of evaluate the use of technology and make some recommendations. So your book, as you can see in the rubric, your book provides guidance on creating a classroom evaluation and writing a letter to the teacher. So instead of doing an elaborate report like a formal assistive technology evaluation, we're moving more towards implementing AT for everyone in this universal design concept, which is one of our topics for the course. So then you will be doing that. So you'll be writing a letter, you'll be creating a summary of your observation. There is paperwork for classroom evaluation, so you will be completing that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to have these loose recommendations, and you're going to pick one recommendation and create a resource for the teacher to implement it. And again, we'll talk more in depth about this as the semester continues on, but I want this in the back of your head to start thinking about where could I observe, who could I observe, and start to take steps to get the approval. You will not be writing about specific students, so you don't have to worry about releases. It really is an overall summary of the observation. So you'll have a technical aspect training guide, and you'll also have an aspect for implementing it. So not only how to use the program, but where and when to use the program, which is one of the most important aspects of training. And then making sure that your resources are teacher friendly. Are they links? Is it clunky? Is it hard to understand? So that one is 30 points. So then here's your tentative course schedule. So what is really important for me that I want to make sure you see, here's that you can see you have your class format. So we will have some online classes integrated as well into the semester, in addition to guest lecturers coming in. You'll have your topics, your in-class activities, and then your homework for the next class. So what is important is when these things are posted for your homework for your next class will typically be in the Blackboard link under the next topic. So for example, being an educated consumer of research will be under research methods in week 2, if you wanted to find that. The only outlier, of course, is for this week, I want you to read critical issues in special education, and that is found under your week 1. So what I would like you to do is just go over our course schedule. Let me know if you have any questions about anything. You can feel free to email me, or I will answer them then in class next week when we meet in Davis. I will model the Twitter chat review for you next week so that you would just have an idea of what I'm looking for, and I'll have that one-page guide for you. We will probably have a live Twitter chat here at ATIA, so it will be a little bit of a different Twitter chat. Okay. So, quiet listserv, again, most of you, especially if you're in SED 595 in the assessment course, you need to join quiet, but I'm also asking that you make sure that you join quiet for this course. So really the benefits of quiet is that it's a huge membership of a variety of people, from AT specialists, AT users, AT vendors, app creators, developers. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different people participating in this listserv. So under quiet list here, you can change your options. So like I said, in the intro course, which most all of you took because it's a requirement for this course, you have to join quiet. Since then, you've probably either deleted the emails or just trashed them all. So you can change your delivery options so that you can have just the digest, which is a summary. It is a lot of emails. I have like an email specifically set up for quiet so that I can keep things organized. You can also search the archives, which is really helpful. So you can identify an area that you need have some questions about, or maybe a tool that you're looking for, and you can search the archives before actually posting on quiet. Okay, so now we're going to move on to Twitter. So like I said, Twitter, especially in the field of assistive technology, has really emerged as one of the major professional learning tools. So what I would also like you to do is in your notebook, as we've already brainstormed some critical issues about assistive technology, I want you to write down your thoughts. What is your perspective on using social media for professional growth? I find that there's a lot of different perspectives out there. Initially, I was very much against it. I wasn't really on social media personally. So I was like, how could I really use this professionally? And once I started and took a leap, and I actually just participated in one AT chat, which is why I created a Twitter account, and I realized the value of it. So I just want to know your thoughts. Do you have any experiences? Do you know anybody? Maybe it's not Twitter. Maybe you have joined some professional Facebook groups. But what I would like you to do is, as soon as possible, sign up and follow my account. So you can see that this is my account. So it's at Tucker_LT, which is my Twitter account. And I would like you to follow me in addition to following the hashtag ATIA17. So just to give you a quick little overview, And the @ symbol identifies an account. So that's a person. So you would be following me, so you would get everything that I'm talking about or I'm tweeting. So what I'll be doing is I'll be in educational sessions essentially tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday, and I'll be tweeting the information that I'm learning. I might also, depending on what courses I'm in, tweet my live notes so that you guys can see them, tweet some resources, tweet what's happening. What I have also included is I've included some instructional videos on Blackboard for you. Let me show you where those are. Under our week 1 intro, you can see here we have some videos. PLN is a personal learning network, so these videos are really focusing on using Twitter for professional knowledge in general, but the first one specifically will help you create a Twitter account if you don't already have one. The second one will help you with customizing your profile, analyzing other profiles to make sure that they're good accounts to follow, and then searching topics as well. So what I like about Twitter is that if you're interested in dyslexia, you can search a lot of information about dyslexia. Number 3 really just talks about the activity on Twitter, how to publish a tweet, retweeting, replying, and liking. And then also connecting to something called TweetDeck. So I just want to show you some options right now. So to give you some examples, so if I go to Twitter, this is what my Twitter homepage looks. So everyone that I'm following, I can see everything that's being posted. So right now it's not very organized. This is kind of like throwing everything together into one specific stream. The way that I like to use Twitter, and I find the cleanest, is using another website called TweetDeck. What TweetDeck allows me to do is organize the information that I'm getting from my Twitter account. So here is my home, which is just what we saw on my website. But what I have here is the hashtag ATIA. So like I said, today is a pre-conference, so there's a lot of people tweeting from pre-conferences, but you can see here these are a lot of vendors talking about where they are in ATIA. So you can see there's so many different options for learning, and you can essentially virtually attend a conference, which is what I would like you guys to do. Is so really keep monitoring this, even if you come home and monitor it. What I like is I can just keep scrolling through. I mean, these were from an hour ago. The way that TweetDeck organizes things is that I can keep going and look even who posted yesterday about ATIA and find some other really great information. I do also have a hashtag for Southern. So you can see here I have hashtag SCSUAT. I'm mainly the one who posts under that hashtag, but you can see all of the things that I've reposted with that hashtag. It's kind of like tagging it, giving it a category so that it's easy for you to search and see what has happened. And then I have some other hashtags as well that I'm following. When you're looking at participating in a Twitter chat, I find that TweetDeck is the easiest way because it will continually refresh for you, and it's easier for you to then follow a conversation. All right, so that's TweetDeck. Let me go back over here. Okay. So, instructional videos on Blackboard. So what I also want you to think about, so after you've written in your notebook your thoughts about social media for professional growth, what other accounts would be valuable? So what do you think would be interesting for you to follow, or what topics are you interested in beyond assistive technology? So kind of jot that down. So do you think like the Department of Education would be helpful to follow? Are you interested in research on autism? So kind of thinking about that stuff, and we're going to do a quick little Twitter preview when we meet next week. But like I said, we will talk, and I will, do some presentations on what happened at ATIA and some things that I learned. But I want you to follow this hashtag and start getting familiar with Twitter before you jump into a Twitter chat. So following this hashtag ATIA17, you'll be able to see what everyone is posting about assistive technology this week. So next I want to move on. So QIAT, the Quality Indicators for Assistive Technology, essentially publish standards for assistive technology specialists to follow because there's no strict certification. We do have, you can get a certificate from RESNA to be an ATP, which is an assistive technology practitioner. However, there's no actual certification to be an AT specialist. There's no code for that. So what we really follow are these professional standards checklists or these professional standards. So your homework for next week is to go onto Blackboard, and you can see under week 1, we have these special education technology specialist standards. So if you open that up, it is a Microsoft Word document, so you can just save it for yourself. And what I want you to do for homework is I want you to rate yourself here. So you can see that we have the variety of standards, and these are the knowledge objectives underneath each standard. So I want you to read them, and I want you to rate yourself. Do you feel like you're a novice? Do you feel like you're proficient or you're accomplished? So don't be hard on yourself. It's kind of evaluating your readiness level. So we're going to do this now at the beginning of the semester, and then we're also going to look probably at the end of the semester, and if any of you are doing the practicum, we're going to take it again. So it's kind of like a pre and post, but this also helps me to see what are the gaps in the program and where do you kind of feel like you need a little bit more help. I mean, there's a lot of objectives on here, so don't get too overwhelmed, but I do want you to rate yourself on these. Okay. So where are your gaps? I want you to print those results and I want you to bring them to class next week. What you'll essentially be doing with that is you'll have another assignment that we'll talk about where you're going to take your 5 weakest standards and you're going to find resources to empower yourself to move from novice into either accomplished or proficient in that area. So now what I would like to do is I'd like to go into the Bewley Library website to kind of start you on this process of researching journal databases and citations. So you will, for your research paper, need to use APA style. If you are not familiar with APA or if you haven't used it yet, one of my favorite websites is the Purdue OWL website. This provides amazing guidance on using APA formatting. It is nice that I will show you how the Bewley Library Research Database has built-in APA citations. However, sometimes they're not always perfect. So you want to make sure you double check. It's nice to start with something, but then you want to make sure it's actually correct. So the Purdue website gives you a lot of resources, even on just formatting your page. It's extremely helpful. So back here, let's go. Ooh, my link is broken. So if you just go to the Southern website, the easiest way or the way that I do it is I type in Bewley in the search bar and we get right into the Bewley Library. So here, once you're at the Bewley Library, we're going to go and find the research database. I find that the research database that has the most educational resources is going into the EBSCO databases. So under E, we have EBSCO. Come on. I have too many tabs open. I apologize. Oh boy. Let's try this again. Hopefully Southern's not having too many issues. Let's try going in this way, databases by subject. All right. So we'll just, for right now, because EBSCO wasn't working, we'll go into ERIC. So what I like is that EBSCO includes all of these best bets. But let's go into ERIC for right now. Oh boy. seems like the library website is down. Oh boy. All right, well, I will post another video once the library website is up for you kind of looking at searching articles and then doing citations as well. So there will be a second online video that I'll do once it's actually working, so I apologize about that. So now let's move on. So read and write for Google, which you have been introduced to in Bo Zamfir's class for reading and writing for assistive technology, reading and writing assistive technology, is a really helpful tool because it kind of adds a whole bunch of assistive technology into one tool. So it is a Chrome extension, which will run over any website. One of the things that's really valuable is this active reading portion. And we're going to talk a lot about assistive technology services and the best practices for training. And one of the most important things is how to incorporate teaching best practices into the use of assistive technology. So what I love about Read and Write for Google is that we have these active reading highlighters, which allows a teacher to build in active reading strategies when using the assistive technology tool. So it's not like the tool just solves the problem, but the tool makes the strategy more efficient. So next week, because you're going to be using Read and Write for Google for homework for your February 2nd assignment, what I want you to do between now and next week is make sure that you can log in. So you did have an account through Bo when you took that course. So make sure that you have it and you have the full version of Read and Write for Google. So I can show you my Read and Write for Google toolbars right here. So you have the full toolbar here. Mine actually wasn't working, so let me see if mine can work now. I've had technical difficulties all over the place this week. So your extension is this little purple puzzle piece. Okay, so you'll know you'll have the free version when everything is bolded like this. If you have the free version, it will just be, most of these buttons will be grayed out. So what I want to show you here, and if you look on your syllabus, we scroll all the way down. Your homework that's due February 2nd, you want to use Read and Write for Google to extract the most important information from each section for the AT guidelines. And you're going to use pink for main ideas, green for questions, blue for surprising information, and yellow can be your choice. So what I really like, and to kind of refresh your memory here, is that I'm just going to highlight important information, and I can hit the highlighter when needed. But then after you're done reading, and so the Connecticut AT guidelines are a link to a website, so you can continually do this, is I have this, it looks like a recycle symbol, but what I can do here is if I hit collect highlights, and I'm going to sort them by color, what it will do for me is it will create a Google Doc with all of my highlights. So that's what I want you to come to class with on February 2nd. Is your Google document with all of the information that you have highlighted. And here it is. So it's nice and neat for me. It links me back to the website where I got them. So it makes everything nice and neat. So I want you to practice with this extension. So that's not due until February 2nd, but for next week, I just want you to make sure that you have access to Read and Write for Google, that you can use it, and that you start practicing with it. If you don't have your Southern account still activated, hitting this purple puzzle piece here will bring you to the text help website. And then you can look and see, because there's free accounts for teachers. So you can sign up to have a free account because you're a teacher. Okay, so I kind of just went over the highlighting aspects. We talked about why they are important. I'm sorry, I forgot I had this slide. So what I also want you to think about is starting your Google site. So you're gonna upload your first assignment, again, due February 2nd, so we will talk about it. But what I want to show you is a student example from a student that I had last semester, and look at her Google website. This is just an example. This is not something that you have to do. So you can see here that she has her home. And then on the left side here are all the pages that she's created and all of her resources. So she has her funding resources here. She did things a little bit differently, but I like how she organized things. She inserted images of her documents, and then at the bottom gave you the link to the document. So you can see how she visually took each of these assignments and made it teacher friendly, and that's something that's extremely important, and that's a valuable portion of this assignment, is making it teacher friendly so that teachers can take this information and then run with it and it's not overwhelming. We all know that in teaching we have very limited amounts of time, so we don't want them to be expected to read all of these pages to get this information. It's kind of like cut to the chase. So this is an example of a student website that has been created just to start wrapping your head around it. I think Google Sites is the easiest platform to use, but if you're familiar with Wix or if you're familiar with Wikipedia, if you want something different, I'm definitely open to other suggestions. All right, so for next week, we will meet in Davis, so we will have a typical class where we will meet. Your reading for next week is Becoming an Educated Consumer of Research and Critical Issues in Special Education Technology. So in Blackboard here, in your week 1 intro, that's where we have Critical Issues in Special Education Technology. And under Research Methods, we have Becoming an Educated Consumer of Research. So those are your 2 reading assignments for next week. What I also want you to do is complete the Technology Specialist Survey and bring your printed results to class. The Technology Specialist Survey is under week 1. There they are right there. And then finally, you need to create a Twitter account, and I need you to follow my account, Tucker_LT. If you have a personal Twitter account, it is your choice on whether or not you want to use your personal Twitter account for these professional school purposes, or if you would like to transition that and create a professional one, so create a separate one. Completely up to you. So I'll be looking to see new followers soon, which is why I do want you to make sure you watch this lecture by Thursday. Please feel free to email me if you have any questions or any difficulties, and I will be posting another video on accessing the Bewley Library research databases once that research engine is up and running. So thank you everyone so much for a great online lecture, and I'm looking forward to meeting everyone next week in Davis, and I hope you have a good week, and I will see you on Twitter.